The multinational legal battles between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard have just become a lot less charitable. Costar calls Amber Heard class act despite Johnny Depp controversy. Actress Amber Heard is currently hard at work in film Aquaman 2, officially titled Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, alongside leading man Jason Momoa, Aquaman, and other co-stars like Dolph Lundgren, King Nereus, and Patrick Wilson, Ocean Master, all of whom are reprising their roles from the original Aquaman 2018. New Mom Heard has become a controversial figure over the course of the past year due to her ongoing legal battle with ex-husband Johnny Depp, Pirates of the Caribbean, Alice in Wonderland, What's Eating Gilbert Grape, Corpse Bride, with some Depp supporters even boycotting Warner Brothers because Heard wasn't fired from her role in the DCEU franchise. The studio did let Depp go from his part as Gellert Grindelwald in the Harry Potter Fantastic-based spin-off series. Depp's replacement Mads Mikkelsen, Rogue One, a Star Wars story, has admitted even he is not sure if Depp's firing was fair. Nonetheless, not everyone seems to have a negative opinion of Heard. In fact, former bodybuilder Lundgren recently spoke out about his time on the Aquaman sequel set, referring to Heard and everyone else involved in the production as a class act. The Swedish actor went on to share details about how incredible Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, which is reportedly set to follow Arthur Curry's quest to find the lost city of Atlantis, is going to be when it hits theaters. If you haven't followed the ongoing Johnny Depp vs. Amber Heard case in November 2020, the Sleepy Hollow star lost his libel lawsuit against UK news group newspaper publication The Sun for their report that he had allegedly engaged in domestic violence, including a report hostage situation during a Pirates of the Caribbean shoot in Australia against ex-wife Amber Heard on multiple occasions. British judge Anthony Cole presided over the original proceedings, and Depp later lost his right to appeal the original ruling in the United Kingdom. The actor, for his part, has denied the domestic violence allegations, with even his ex-partners Vanessa Paradis and Winona Ryder speaking out in his defense at various points in time. As the once-married Rom Diary co-stars inch towards a May 3 trial start in Depp's $50 million defamation suit against Heard, claims have now re-emerged over whether the Aquaman star actually donated her $7 million 2016 divorce settlement to charity as promised. A clearly planted story in the UK's Daily Mail seems aimed to help get the Pirates of the Caribbean actor the new trial he is seeking against fellow tabloid The Sun over being labeled a wife-beater in print. Mr. Depp's effort to plant stories in the media criticizing Amber for not yet fulfilling all the donations she pledged to charity is yet another desperate attempt to divert attention from the UK's court findings relating to allegations of Mr. Depp committing domestic abuse and violence. Heard's U.S. attorney Elaine Bradhoff told Deadline in a statement Thursday after the Mail story appeared online. While Depp initially handed over $100,000 of a promised $3.5 million to LA's Children's Hospital Foundation in Heard's name in 2016, a 2019 letter from the organization asks the actress if you have knowledge if CHLA should expect further installments on your behalf or if the pledge will not be fulfilled. Heard stated in the UK High Court last year and on various other occasions over the past years that she donated the full $7 million to the CHLA and ACLU after some initial hiccups in the agreement with her ex-husband. In fact, in his biting November 2020 decision against Depp in the libel case against the Rupert Murdoch-owned son, Judge Anthony Cole made a distinct point of praising Heard as Team Depp sought to sully the motivation of the anti-domestic violence advocate. Her donation of the $7 million to charity is hardly the act one would expect of a gold digger, said the High Court judge, also asserting the son's claims against Depp was substantially true. However, today, Heard's lawyer in the Virginia-based defamation matter and her client's $100 million counterclaim did noticeably walk back the full extent of the actress's benefactions. Amber has already been responsible for 7 figures in donations to charitable causes and intends to continue to contribute and eventually fulfill her pledge. The rest-located Bradhoff added. However, Amber has been delayed in the goal because Mr. Depp filed a lawsuit against her and consequently She has been forced to spend millions of dollars defending Mr. Depp's false accusations against her, while implicitly confirming Depp's allegations that donations weren't fully made. Brad Huff's explanation actually further complicates the matter in another manner. Depp sued Heard for defamation in 2019, over 2 years after the divorce settlement. So what were the big bucks Heard had to pay out to lawyers from 2017 to 2019? That question may now become pivotal in the UK, having already seen one appeal attempt to go nowhere, as Depp's UK lawyers want a new trial in part because the first trial's judge failed to properly assess her credibility by reference to documentary evidence, photographs, recordings, or otherwise. Judge Nicole concluded that the appellant was guilty of serious physical assaults without taking account of or even acknowledging that Ms. Heard has been untruthful in her evidence, without testing her account against the documentary evidence and the evidence of other witnesses, and without making any findings that he disbelieved those witnesses. Barrister David Cherborn wrote the appeals court on Christmas Eve. Deadline asked Heard's attorney Brad Huff if the fact that her client has not donated all of the $7 million settlement, as she has said she has, could impact either the U.S. defamation cases or the UK matter. No, they have nothing to do with each other, the Charles and Brad Huff, Cohen and Brown PC partner replied. The ACLU did not reply to a request from Deadline on the state of Heard's donations. CHLA did, sort of, due to circumstances of the litigation. CHLA is legally precluded from sharing details about the case publicly, said a Children's Hospital Los Angeles spokesperson tonight. Representatives for Depp did not have a timely statement when contacted by Deadline, but Depp's longtime legal advisor Adam Waldman did respond online to Brad Huff's remark of Heard eventually fulfilling the donations by posting in that the same thing as a 4-year media spasm of the $7 million charitable donation. Is that the same thing that was said in court under oath? No, it is not the same thing. Frequently mentioned in filings by Heard's lawyers in the Virginia cases and no longer directly representing Depp in the matter. Waldman is currently being sought for a deposition that Heard's team say he is ducking. Just like Mr. Depp, who refused to appear for his properly noticed deposition, Mr. Waldman appears or believes this court's clear rules respecting depositions do not apply to him, say a January 4 memorandum in opposition from Heard's attorneys to Tim Depp's motion for a protective order. Having failed earlier this week to get Heard's $100 million counterclaims dismissed in Virginia court, it probably is no confidence that the donations dispute is being rechecked to a new level now. In December, Fairfax County Judge Bruce White did grant Depp's desire to have Heard hand over her decade-old arrest record and documentation related to how she allocated the funds from the 2016 divorce deal.